Hello, I congratulate you already for being there as our audience, our viewers this evening. It's a privilege to be with you. It's 7 p.m. in Douala, in Cameroon, at a city in Cameroon. It's equally 7 p.m. in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon. It is 7 p.m. in Boya, the foot of Mount Fako. It is 7 p.m. in Bamenda. And all of you are viewers following us from these places. I congratulate you already for following. We are not forgetting our viewers that are following us from France, from UAE, from Oman, people that are following us from various countries, Germany. I congratulate you, and we are not ignorant of your presence always on our show. As you all know, this evening is going to be a thriller. It's going to be a very powerful show. It's going to be great. It's going to be an inspiring show. It's going to be a show of insight. We have people of timber and caliber, resource persons from the academic milieu that have come here to give us tips, techniques, valuable success tips that we could use, that are worth emulating, worth trying, that we could implement or apply as students, both in the universities, in the high schools, secondary schools, and even in primary schools. You're sitting for any exams, these tips, you put them into practice, I guarantee you are going to make it in flying colors. So just stay with us and don't go anywhere. So we are going to not waste much of your time and just dive right in. And you all know that today we're talking about preparations for exams. Preparation for exams. You all know preparation for exams is never an easy task. It's never an easy job for students. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's challenging, sometimes it's even stressful, but you need some effective tools, some effective strategies, some effective planning to enhance your preparation for the exams, because it is the true test of knowledge in our own case as it concerns formal education. The way it is your knowledge is being tested is that you go through an exam, and if you don't prepare adequately to sit in for these exams, you are really not going to make it. So it's challenging, yes. It is stressful, yes. Sometimes even boring, yes. But do you have to sit back and just fold your arms and be like, no, this thing is stressful, it's challenging, and I'm really not going to give in efforts? No, there are some tips to go about it. Others have gone before us. Others have made it successful in their exams, and they are equally here to share their success story, to give us those valuable tips, those things that you can put in place while preparing for your exams, and you're going to make it big time. So without further ado, we have great persons here. We have a very first panelist here in the person of Pastor Obasi Njoku. He is a pastor. He's equally a tutor. He's a tutor in the university milieu. He has tutored a lot of students in the HND for HND examinations, and even others for the GCE, that is the General Certificate of Education here in Cameroon. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Pastor Obasi Njoku to the question.
Thank you, Mr. Asa, for the privilege. Thank you for calling us to be here. I'm very happy to be here, and I also want to appreciate the fact that you have brought up this important topic, which is very critical, especially as we're getting towards the examination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always a privilege to have you, and thank you for gracing our show with your presence, and equally to be here and share from your wealth of knowledge, so that young minds out there preparing for their exams are going to apply these techniques or the knowledge that you're going to share out here or pour out here this evening, so that their results are going to be live, or they are going to be thrilling. The second person on the panel this evening is Mrs. Fang. She is the principal of All Saints Bilingual College here in Bala, that's in Bonaberi. She's equally tutored a lot of students in the aspect in the exams, that's General Certificate of Education, Advanced Level, Ordinary Level, I think BEPC, and all the students are under her administration, and she tutors them. So we have someone in the house that is really versed with exam strategies, and she knows all these things, and she's really thought it wise to be here and really share it out. So she has the youth at heart, she has your exams at heart, and she has even your success at heart. Thank you for coming, Madam Fa.
Thank you, Mr. Asa. Thank you very much, and thank you to your team for the great work you are doing. It has been a quite inspiring program. I've been following it keenly, and I have been learning more, and I want to believe that as we are talking about exams today, I believe that those hands that we are going to learn their lessons.
Oh, thank you. You're a student out there. I don't know if you got what she said. She said that we believe that you're going to get something from the show today. So if maybe you were thinking of touching maybe the button or saying that, okay, let me just go do something, please don't do that. Greater things are coming your way. And last but not the least on the show today, we have Mrs. Sophie. She is the vice principal of LASCO, that is Life Anglo-Saxon School here in Bonaberry, Douala. She has equally tutored a lot of students in for the exams, that is General Certificate of Education, both ordinary and advanced level. So she's well prepared, well set, and ready enough to pour out the techniques and the tips that you need in order to make it or excel in your exams. Thank you very much for gracing our show with your presence, Mrs. Sophie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asa. Thank you, Kwesho, for this opportunity. I'm really honored to be part of this panel this evening. Thank you. And I believe, as the others have said, that by the end of this Kwesho, you will have a cause to glorify God. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It is seeming to me as though the first strategy to succeed in examination is appreciation and humility, because I get it from Pastor Basi appreciating us, appreciating the Kwesho for bringing them here. I get it from Mrs. Fang. I get it from Mrs. Sophie too, that they've made it here. So I think maybe appreciation and humility is one of the things that you are supposed to implement or put in place in order to get good results. So like we all have heard from them, they are well seated, they are already grounded, like they are loaded. I think there are so many things that they want to pour out here. They cannot even wait to feed your mind with all the techniques and all the tips that you need in order to make it in your exams this year. Maybe already be asking questions like, it is about maybe 2 months to the exams already. Why is it coming up now? It is never too late. You could still put in these valuable assets together and you implement them, and in less than no time you see yourself coming up, and you would not even believe that you are the student you were maybe this month or maybe last month or this month. Tomorrow is the very first day of your future. So if you follow all these things and you begin implementing them, tomorrow, which is the very first day of your future, you are going to have excellent results in your exams. So without further ado, we are just going to delve into the subject matter of the day: preparation for exams. Is there something particular about preparation for exams? I'm going to begin with you, Pastor Obasi. You're a clergyman. You're going to grace us or begin the show.
Okay, thank you once more, Mr. Asa, for this privilege. I would just like to start by explaining what an exam is all about. In the first place, the word examination has different perspectives. People look at examination. You can talk about it from the medical field. You can talk about it from the scientific field as well as academia. But now we are mostly looking at this word from the academic perspective. So what is an examination? An examination seems to be like a formal test or evaluation of the performance of a student or a learner over a given period of time. It is just an attempt to us to find out what a student or a learner has been able to acquire over a given period of time through examination. People usually say that examination is not a true test of knowledge. Actually, it depends. So an examination all about it just to know what somebody have acquired over a given period of time, and there's nothing to be panic about, or you're not supposed to be disturbed about the examination or to be worried if actually you're well prepared for the exercise. So I just think for a beginning, that is just a brief definition about what examination is all about. And we are talking about examination from different levels, right from the secondary. We know that we're in Cameroon, and Cameroon is bilingual, so we're dealing with both the French and the English system of education, where we have GC O level, GC A level, and I get to the university level, we have HND, we have students who are offering bachelors, maybe why not masters. And then talking about the French sector, we have the CAP for the technical, we have BPC, we have probatoire, we have baccalaureate, BTS, licence, master. These are different levels. Then even now in the English sector, we have what we call the technical examination for commercial students, like the ITV and also the TVE. So these are different levels of the examination. And I think as we go further, more should be said about the different aspect of this particular examination.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Obasi, for that intervention on what examination is all about. Some say it is not the true test of knowledge, but examination is just to test you on on the knowledge that you've acquired. That's examination in a few terms or in a few words. Mrs. Fang, what's an examination? What do you have? Is it really the true test of knowledge? How do you think?
Yeah, people will say examination is not the true test of knowledge, but examination is testing knowledge. In the course of the program, the course of study, the student has covered the coursework, as we call it at the level of the university, and as at the level of the secondary education, we have what we call the contents, the syllabus. The student has covered it. And now when it comes to examination, what are you testing? You are testing the content work or the coursework. So you are testing the knowledge the student has acquired. So examination is actually testing the knowledge that the student has acquired in all the courses that the student has covered in that program. So it's a test of knowledge. I think while people always say it's not the test of knowledge, because you have cases where you have students who have actually gone through school, maybe because they didn't prepare well, and then at the end you find them failing exams, and then you say, but that student was a brilliant student. How did that student fail? No, examination is not a true test of knowledge. That's a brilliant student. He has all the knowledge, but because he didn't put in place some little techniques, he fails the exam, and then we now feel it's not a test of knowledge. It is a test of knowledge.
Examination is a test of knowledge, says Mrs. Fan, because you could still prepare for an exam, but you don't prepare adequately. Though brilliant, you would still not make it. Miss Sophie, something different from what they've both said?
Well, actually, I don't have anything to say concerning that examination is not the true test of knowledge. But what I want to add to what they have said is that examination also gives the examiner the opportunity or to see whether the person that went into the exam is qualified to move to the next level. I think with that, after learning for a period of time, they need to see whether what the person has achieved so far can be able to reproduce that, and that guarantees that person to move to the next level. So examination, I'll buy the idea that is the true test of knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Sophie. She is affirming and confirming and equally joining the trend that says examination is the true test of knowledge. Ms. Fang, while talking, made mention of syllabus. She said if maybe you are a very brilliant student and you study, but you are not within the syllabus, you might not make it though brilliant because you didn't follow some techniques, and that's the reason we are equally here to give out these techniques so that brilliant students, though failing, can still be brilliant, but now succeeding. That is, they will not be successful brilliant students because they are equally, I think, failing brilliant students. So Mr. Obasi, you're going to tell us what's the place of understanding exam format and syllabus while preparing for exams.
Thank you, Mr. Asa, for the privilege again. I would like to say that understanding exam format and also understanding the syllabus for an exams has a primordial place. In fact, a student should not venture in an examination or even starting a subject without knowing the syllabus. That should be the first thing that a teacher should give to the student when he comes to class. The very first day, the student should be conversant with the syllabus for every subject. Now, if a student is not aware of the syllabus, it may happen that the lecturer or the teacher will not maybe teach everything, and then the student goes to the exams unprepared, and then maybe the part that was not taught comes in the exams. That will lead to failure. So the student is supposed to be conversant with the exam. Then number two, the student is supposed to be conversant with the format of the exams. There are exams, for example, if you get to the GC O level, there are exams that have two papers, and you have the first paper is MCQ, then the second is just maybe AC or structural. If you are dealing with the advanced level, some papers you have three papers, and some even have practicals. So the student should be conversant with the papers and what is expected, if it is structural, if it is essay type of presentation, and knowing the instructions given as per question. Students should be conversant with the instruction, because sometimes you may be asked that out of the 10 questions given, just to answer 7 or maybe to answer 8, and the student may find his or herself struggling, not knowing that they have given a limited number of questions to be answered. But I just want to add more on the issue of the number of questions to be answered in the question. I think if a student can answer, if they have given 10 questions, for example, and a student can answer all the 10 questions, the student should answer all the 10 questions. The examiners are going to mark, and then they select the ones that the students have performed best, then give the mark to that particular student. So I think having a good knowledge about the syllabus is very important. If you are a student over there, and up to now you are in a particular subject or a particular course, and you don't know the syllabus, I will advise you to go get the syllabus. And then this becomes very complicated when it has to do with HND program, because the HND has a syllabus given by the Ministry of Higher Education, and sometimes some lecturers just come to class and then they don't give or don't cover the syllabus, and you understand that the person who sets the HND is not your teacher, or he may set somebody else. People set from different areas in Cameroon, and at the end of the day, the HND board is going to select one of the questions. It may happen that what is selected is what was not even taught in your class. So that is why you must be very conversant with the course content. When you get yourself to a class and the lecturer comes in, the first thing he should give you is the course content or the syllabus of that course, so that you'll be able to go back and do your personal research. If everything is not taught, don't just depend on what the lecturer is giving in class. You must also be able to do further research to get information on the other aspect that is not taught. So I think I'm going to end here for the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Obasi, for that intervention on knowing or understanding syllabus and exam format. You are supposed to go an extra mile after you are conversant with the syllabus. Don't just know the syllabus. When you know the syllabus, that doesn't give you the materials. The syllabus is just a highlight of what you are really supposed to study. So don't maybe go and get the syllabus and now you sit down and be like, okay, I have the syllabus, then I'm set for exams. No, you go get your syllabus. Now you start studying real studies, and you cover all the syllabus, and there, as you do so, you'll be set for the exams. Anything to throw on that, Mrs. Fang, for format?
Okay. Just to add to what the pastor said, the syllabus to the compass. Now, the pilot can't fly the plane without the compass, nor the captain. So it's like a guide is guiding you. It's not only for the teacher, it's mostly for the students. And so a student is expected to have the syllabus, like when we get to general education, students at the A level are doing 5 subjects, you have the syllabus for all your subjects. Now the GC book provides a booklet that has all the subjects inside what we call the syllabus. So if you can get that book, it's good. If you can't get it, a student cannot have the whole booklet. You photocopy out your own part, because that syllabus, that is one of the things a student must get once you know you are preparing for exam. It is like your compass, just like the captain there cannot move the ship without that. So you can't be a student and then you are going on a journey to write exams and you don't know what is expected of you. That syllabus tells you everything that is expected of you in the exams, and so it's very necessary. It gives you the course content, just like he said. It gives you the course content. It gives you the format of the exam, how the exam is going to look like. It gives you the different papers you are going to face there. So it gives you everything you need to know about that exam. It gives you even the weighting of the different papers. Paper 1, what's the weight? Paper 2, what's the weight? So it gives you the weighting and gives you, in paper 2, what is going to be covered here. So if a student has not gotten the syllabus, you are like moving without a compass. And so I don't know where you are going to.
Okay, thank you for that intervention, Mrs. Fang. A syllabus is a compass. A syllabus is your compass as a student preparing for an exams. You would not be able to navigate through an exam session if you are lacking in this aspect, or if you don't have a syllabus, you don't master the syllabus, you are not conversant with the syllabus. Now, about exam format, they always give time. There's time constraint, and how they mark these scripts. Is it of importance to the preparing students to know how the scripts are being marked, Mrs. Sophie?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Presenter. It's very important when you are going into an exam to know how the scripts are being marked. Very, very important. And like the pastor said, instructions are very, very important. There are some papers that they'll tell you that you are to attempt all questions, whether you know it or not. It is mentioned that you should attempt all the questions, so you must attempt that. And then you need to know how to answer the questions, because when you don't even know the format, how will you even know how to approach the question? Most often our candidates, they go into exams without knowing the format, which is very, very important. Like in paper 1, what are they asking in paper 1? Paper 2, what is required of me? And also in cases of paper 3 and so on, what am I supposed to do? So those things are very, very important if you are to write an exam, so that you know what to do and what not to do.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sophie. I think in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, something is established, which is that a student preparing for exams is in need of this vital tool called syllabus, which is a compass to any students preparing to sit for a particular exam. And equally, you're supposed to know the format of how the paper thank you for being there. Thank you, Miss Sophie, for that intervention. Bonsoir à nos téléspectateurs qui sont là, qui nous suivent en ligne. Vous êtes là. Nous parlons de préparation pour l'examen. Si vous allez composer peut-être le baccalauréat probatoire ou le BEPC ou le BTS, nous sommes en train de donner certaines petites techniques que vous pouvez utiliser pour réussir dans votre examen. Donc, restez avec nous comme nous continuons. Mrs. Fang, we are going to go with you. We've spoken of, you've spoken to the students out there about the syllabus, the importance of the compass for examination, which is the syllabus, understanding the exam format, which you're sitting, the exams you're sitting for. What are some of the techniques that you can now use after maybe you've known that, okay, these are the syllables this is the syllabus I'm supposed to cover. Okay, this is my workload. How am I supposed to navigate through the waters of examination after having had my compass handy?
Thank you for that question. Very important. Most of them will use the word technique, and student may think something very large. Technique is just the way you go about your preparation, just the strategy that you're going to use. Now, the first thing I want to highlight is that time is necessary for every exam. And therefore, if there must be effective preparation, that preparation must start early enough. Because it is said that proper preparation prevents poor performance. And proper preparation cannot take place when there is not enough time. And therefore, for any effective preparation, I think the first technique is that let there be time. Let the students start the preparation on time. And that's the error we have with many of our students, and that is what pushes students into stress, because they don't start their preparation enough and they want to wait until at the verge of the exams and they start preparing. So time is enough. Starting to prepare early is enough. I will still want to talk about the syllabus. Of course, I will not belabor that point again because we've already mentioned it. The syllabus is very, very necessary. Now, apart from the syllabus being necessary, now a technique in studying is also time, managing your time. It's very important in preparation for the exams. You must be able to manage your time, and you can't manage your time if there is no plan. So there must be a study plan. Commonly we call it the timetable. There must be a timetable, and there are some things you must take into consideration when you want to come up with a study plan. First and foremost, you take into consideration all your course. What are the different subjects that you have to go in for that exam? You take it into consideration. What's the time you have for that exam, before the exam comes up? Like now we are talking about the GC. The GC will be coming up, say, in a month's time, by the 28th of May. GC is starting. So any student preparing for exam has barely a month. So you take that also into consideration, and then you now come up with a study plan, a timetable. Another thing you need to take into consideration, you also have to take into consideration those challenging subjects. You take that into consideration in drawing up your study plan. Challenging subjects are there. You will not allocate the same time you will allocate to subjects which are not challenging to you. For instance, if I take the example, say you are working on a timetable where you have 40 hours to distribute to, say, 5 subjects, and 40 hours to distribute to 5 subjects means each subject is to take 8 hours. Now, 8 hours, that's equal distribution, but there are some of those subjects, if you have 5 subjects like an A-level student, that are challenging, that are difficult. Challenging in the sense that you need to put in more time before you understand, before you grasp the concept. You need to put in more time, and therefore, why you have that even distribution of 8, you will not have to give this one more time, which means you will give some of the subject less time. Now, that is study plan. You're looking at your study plan. And then another thing is active study methods. Now, there are different active study methods. One study method which is always common is what we call the SQ3R study method. SQ3R. It's an active study method because it's not like a student is just sitting and cramming. No, you are reading and you are doing something while you are reading. When I talk of SQ, S stands for survey, Q stands for question, and then you have reading, reciting, and reviewing. You see, and then you go back there, you see that one, the students will need his textbook. You will need the textbook, and apart from the textbook, you have, thank God today for technology, you have online libraries. The student can get to online library. You have apps that will give you, you can do your research there. You will need that, and then using that technique, the SQ3, 3R I'm just talking about. You see that you need your textbook, you need your notebook, because the textbook is there for you to do your research. The teacher may not give you everything. Your notebook is there because you have the textbook, but the teacher summarizes and brings out the main point that is needed in the exams in your notebook. So you need that. And therefore you have to do a survey of it. Say you want to cover a particular topic today, you have to do a survey of it. That's what I mean by survey. You do a survey so that you have a picture in your mind of where you are going to or what you want to cover today. And then you have the question, you glance through the question. That question is to guide you while you are now reading. The question guides you while you are reading. So that when you start reading now, because the first R is reading, when you start reading, the question, you will be seeing answers already. As you are reading, you will be seeing answers already, and you'll be taking note of that. And so it's active, and then you have to recite. Now, recite is not like a student stand and recite the poem. Recite means you have gone through, you have read through. You now sit on your own and you try to answer the questions coming from that topic. That's why we say it's an active method. Questions from that topic. You know, you have your question paper in front of you. You now start answering. There's no exams you can prepare effectively without past question. You start answering those questions. You answer them in point form, so you're not like copying out your own notes. And when you do that effectively, it's going to serve for your revision when exams are very crucial. You will not need to go back to read all your notes. Those points you have put down will serve for revision. Then, another technique I feel is also very helpful in the preparation of exam. You see, you talk about teaching others. Teaching others is a technique. It's said in education that when you teach others, you are learning twice. The people listening to you are learning once. You are learning twice. You have listened to the teacher and you are teaching them. So you are learning at that same time. Teaching others is a learning technique also. Because when you are teaching them, you are learning. And then you are helping your memory to remember. So those are some of the technique. And then you have to look at also where you are studying, your environment. Where are you studying? It matters much in preparation. It's one of the technique. Where are you studying? Is the place calm? You need such a calm place to study. What's the lighting system like? We are seated here. If the lighting system is not okay, it's going to affect your study. And then it's true, we just mentioned that in your introduction you talked about the mobile phone being part of a student's material, resource material. But then we also have to watch. As a student, you have to watch. Because why that mobile phone is there and you think you're doing your research, it may become a distraction to you. All those things like that. So
thank you very, very much, Mrs. Fang Elizabeth, for that intervention. Thank you for the point. I'm sure you've been taking down notes. She first mentioned that if you must succeed in your examination, the first factor you must cooperate with is time. If you don't cooperate with time, you are just planning to fail. Yes, you are just planning to fail. That's the first factor. You should be ready enough to prepare, to cooperate with time. And the second thing she said is you are supposed to do a survey of the things that you are supposed to learn, go about asking questions on these particular topics. And she spoke about the 3 R's. That's review, recite, you recite, and I think you research, you review. Okay, you read, you recite, and you review. So She equally spoke of knowing your environment. Knowing your environment, is it conducive enough for learning? If not, would you prefer going to a library, or where are you really going to be comfortable enough to study? You equally need to know your distractions. It's your mobile phone, your distraction. Or yeah, there are distractions in the mobile phone. How do you go about maybe not? How do you keep yourself away from these distractions while studying? I keep seeing her hand shaking. Maybe she wants to add one thing,
Yeah,
one or two.
I think it's also necessary that in this preparation, the students should also know the learning styles. Students have different learning styles. Now we have what we call visual students, we have what we call auditory students, and we have what we call kinesthetic students. Now visual students, they understand. So visual student will need to read, may need to watch a video. If you're doing literature, they may need to project the drama, they will grasp it fast. Auditory students, we have to listen. There are students like that as the teacher is in class and the lecturer is there going on, just stay in class and hearing, that's all. They don't need much of reading. You see, so when a learner knows your learning style, it helps you in your preparation for the exam. A kinesthetic student has to do with touching things, doing things, drawing. And so you convert some of your learning into diagrams. You come up with diagrams that will help you in your studies.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So it's very much important for you to know the type of student you are. Are you the type that sits at a go in a class, and after a lecture you are already good enough, you are ready enough for exams? Are you the one that's supposed to, after a lecture, maybe go back for more research? Are you another person that maybe just you need to put the theory that you've gotten into some graphic form before you can really grasp the concepts in order to go in for your examination? Thank you very much, Mrs. Fang Elizabeth, for that. Thank you for those techniques. Pastor Mr. Obasi, I don't know, did she leave out some techniques which you want to throw more light?
Okay, thank you very much. I think Mrs. Fang, the principal of All Saints Bilingual College, has really said much as far as the techniques are concerned, techniques for preparations for examination. Being in the school milieu, I really have observed most students, and I think before I talk about preparation, permit me to highlight some of the reasons why students fail or have poor performance in their examination. Because as time is going on, we discovered that the performance of students are rather dwindling. Their performance are rather going downward as compared to the past. So what are some of the reasons? We are living in this is a new era, a new environment. And there are many factors that can easily grab or capture the mind of a student to the point that the student is not able to really focus in the classwork, especially for those who are in day schools. But I think in boarding schools, there may be some limited level of distraction. But when it comes to day school, there are a lot of distractions, especially with the fact that students go back home, they interact with others, and then they come back with what they have seen, what they have heard, family situation. So now when we talk about school, and then when we talk about the university milieu, it becomes again more complex because of the fact that there in university milieu, students come with phone in class. You always see students writing one hand and the phone with the other hand. So you discover that their mind is not even the lecture. Just as if once you just say stop, you just stop lecturing, the next thing they are doing is on their phone, and it is costing a lot of distraction in school today. As students come to school, the level of focus and the ability to grab what they had to grab in school, they don't get it. So let me give you some of the reasons what I've observed. Number one, distraction. There are a lot of distractions today in classes, a lot of distraction, and this is actually causing a lot of poor ability to assimilate what the lecturer is giving, whether in the secondary or in the university. A lot of distractions. Some universities today, you find lecturer lecturing and the students are making noise, they are making comments. It's as if it's a debate between the lecturer and the student. And then you discover that now the phone with the social media has even come to worsen the issue. So distraction is a key factor that makes many students today, even after they have read so much, they are even unable to assimilate, because while the lecturer was lecturing, they were fully distracted. Then another important point is absenteeism. Many students are not consistent in classes. They are not punctual. You see them today, you don't see them tomorrow. And if it is a type of course or a type of subject that is a sequence, that if you miss the first step, to get the second step will be difficult. Once the student have missed either the second or the student missed the third step, then that's all. Sometimes you get to some professional schools today, you come to this particular class, you find a set of students who are in that particular class. You get to the next class the next time, all those students were in the first set, they're no more there. You find other set of students who are coming for that particular class. And then you're wondering, should I start back the it has happened to me. I'm not just giving an example, something that it happened to me. Should I start back from the crash, or I should just continue from where I stopped? And if you continue when we stop, the students you're going to face there, they are totally off. So absenteeism from classes is a key factor. And the secondary, I have observed that some students today, once they finish writing their mock, they just carry their bag and go back home. They come to this again. If you see them in school, they just once a while. You come on Monday, you don't see them on Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. They come on Friday, they disappear. You may be thinking that they are studying back at home, but they are doing nothing. They don't come to school. Then some other students, what makes them to fail is the cheating mentality. Some just believe that this thing is too difficult. I'm just waiting. When exams comes, if it gets bad, I will ask my friend, and my friend will show me. So because they just relax, they don't take things serious, and then they go to the exams, they are embarrassed. Maybe they sit beside someone who does not even know himself, and then the person also find it failing. Then another point that you see cause students to fail today is the issue of laziness. Some students are naturally lazy. When they come to class, sleep. You find students dozing. You don't know what it's like. And if you ask the student, did you sleep at home? Yes, I slept. But why are you also sleeping in class? So sleeping has become now a key factor. You find a student come in the morning, she's sleeping. Afternoon, sleeps. And you don't know. And even when the child takes the book to read, personally, the child starts dozing. So what is the cure to all these problems? Then I think Madam Fang mentioned also the issue of time management. Some students don't know how to manage their time. They say, I'm going to school, I'm going to study, for example, history, or I'm going to literature, maybe accounting. When they get to their class now, many things come up their mind, and before they discover the whole day has come and gone, they have not done what they have actually planned to do. Some have even established personal timetable, but they never follow the timetable. So all these factors are affecting the student as far as their success or their studies is concerned. There are many of them. Some other students, the reason why they fail, it is just an aspect of maybe they hate the teacher. And you hating the teacher, you also end up hating the subjects. I don't like mathematics. And when the child is coming to the class, the student is just unhappy. And no matter what they are saying in that class, the student will not be interested. Even if you give the child 3 plus 3, the person will fail because the person does not have the interest. And that lack of interest causes failure. So what is the antidote to all this problem? Just like the question that Mr. Asaf asked, I think if you are a student up there, before you prepare for an exams, it's for the GC. GC is just like 1 month and some few days left. Practicals will be starting very soon. For those who are writing HND, you are starting your exams on the 18th. BTS will be starting early June. And then other exams like BPC, Probatoire will be starting all very soon. How do you do? Even if you have not covered up the whole syllabus, how can you catch up? I have a technique that we call 3 times 2 technique of A grade. 3 times 2 technique of A grade. What is that 2 times 3 technique?
Down. 3 times 2
technique of A grade. That technique means, because for the time is short, before it was 2 times 2, but now because of the shortness of time, we have brought the techniques to 3 times 2. That means you take a subject, 3 subjects a day, every day. Take 3 different subjects that you are offering, or that you are going to write in the exams, and make sure you solve at least 2 past questions. You take a question, the paper, just try to solve 2 questions there. Today I'm taking history. In this history paper, maybe paper 2, I want to solve 2 questions. I take geography, I solve 2 questions. I take mathematics, I solve 2 questions. And cover all your subject. Don't escape, even the one that you feel that are difficult. approach it with the attempt to solve 2 questions. If you don't know, meet somebody who knows better than you and ask the person to help you. It could be a friend who knows very well. It could be a teacher. Meet that person. Please, I want to make sure every day, it should be a decision you take, that with this every day you'll be solving 2 questions from 3 different subjects per day. If you do that within a short period of time, most of the questions you may find yourself solving, they may just be repetitions in the exams, or maybe the question may be modified. But because you have already solved them, you're going to have a better backing or a better base to be able to solve the ones that are coming in exams. Now, to enter into the exams itself, what are the things you have to do? There is a strategy or a technique that we call the AOSAC. AOSAC. So A stands for analysis. That is, you analyze your present situation. Then the O stands for objectives. You set objectives for yourself. Then the S stands for strategies. Strategies that you have to apply in order to achieve those your objectives. Then the next word there is action. Take action. Then the last one is C, is control. That A, if I want to permit me, I will come back to say a point, that is the SWOT analysis. That is the first thing a student should do. At this particular point, carry out a SWOT analysis about your situation. What is a SWOT analysis? S means strength. What is the strength? In which area are you good? In which subject are you good at? If I'm good at this particular subject, thank God, that is good enough. Maybe I'm a fast learner. Maybe I am somebody who can just learn by just visualizing, and it's enough for me. You understand your strength. Maybe this environment, I am somebody who knows how to study in this particular aspect. Or maybe I have a friend who teaches me very well. I have a textbook. I have a good teacher. These are your strengths. Number 2, identify areas where you are weak. Your weaknesses. W. Weaknesses in terms of subjects. Weaknesses in terms of friends. There are some friends that whenever they are with you, you can never study. They are never there to encourage you to study. All what they do is to bring other matters and not studies. They never come and meet you to solve an assignment. Those are weaknesses. What do you do with those friends? You avoid them. It should be deliberate. Tell yourself, these friends in school, at home, or maybe even they call and say, please, I'll put my phone at the wherever. When they call, you don't pick their calls, because you know anytime they call you, they are calling you to an occasion. Sometimes you're in university and you have a friend, she always calls you for a party. Even when exams are at the if, they say party day, we must go and dance. I've already paid your in fact your bill. Just come and follow me. Let's go there. There's another birthday there. Some students will just stay behind and they are doing birthday counting. Birthday is dropping. Somebody's birthday I see in the future, that they are anticipating the birthday, and they don't think about their studies. Their studies is empty. They are empty in their brain because of many distractions. So you analyze yourself. If that is a friend, if maybe you don't have books, if you don't have time, or maybe sometimes the social media can be a point of weakness. So you analyze your weaknesses. I'm weak at this subject. I'm weak here. What can I do then? If I'm weak at this subject, you now set objectives. That's the next part. Oh, objectives. Set objective. This GC this year, I'm going in for 10 papers. And I'm going to have my 10 papers. And what great? 10 A's. This year, not next year, this year. You set objective. Write down the objectives you have written in a paper. Sometimes I say 3 papers. Put one at the edge of your bed. Put one of the paper at the entrance of your room. Then walk with one of the papers. Anywhere you are going, be seen that grade. A grade, A grade, A grade, A grade. Or maybe in your HND, you want to have distinction. Or you want to have upper credit. Or maybe we go maybe at the bachelor's. Whatever level you want to grade, you put your grades. When you set your objectives, then the next thing is strategies. I think Madam Fang has given a lot of strategies we can use. What are the strategies? Find a study group of 3 or 4 students. You post study together. Then she also mentioned about teaching your friend. By teaching others, you are also learning. Get past questions and attempt answering them. Not only that, you make sure you get up early in the morning, early when your brain is still fresh, and find time to study when your brain is still fresh. Don't forget about the issue of prayers. We cannot overemphasize that prayer is necessary before, during, and after the exams. Very important to pray. When you have established your strategy, the next thing, you take action and put somebody to supervise you. If you know that you are a person who can set timetable and you cannot implement them, go and show it to your teacher. Say, please help me. and help me and follow me up to see whether I'm actually following my timetable. Give somebody to supervise you. It could be your parents, it could be somebody you respect, it could be a member of the family, it could be another friend. Show the friend this is what you have to be studying in your study group. Then the last thing, as you are working towards the exams, you should be that's what called control. You find out if actually the plan it will lead you to achieve your objectives. I think with that and many others that I think they are going to contribute will help us to achieve success. Thank you
very much, Mr. Obasi Njoku. Thank you for letting us know the various distractions, the distractions that exist in the lives of students while they prepare for exams. Yes, you've cited a lot of them, and you've given us antidotes to these to these distractions. We're going to hear from Mrs. Sophie on this aspect of techniques. I think Madam Fang has spoken a lot. Mr. Obasi has equally spoken a lot on that. Mrs. Sophie, do you have something to tell a student out there who is maybe already discouraged that, okay, they've spoken about time, that if I must succeed in my exams, I have to cope with time. Like, I have to begin early enough, because if you prepare well, you are avoiding poor results. Now, it's just left a month or maybe 2 to exams. How am I supposed to navigate through these exams?
Thank you very much, the presenter. Well, my colleagues here, they have said a lot. I just want to add that to what they have said, that this aspect of distraction is what is happening or what is causing a lot of failure nowadays. It's not late. You starting now, you can still make it. Just be determined. And with all what they have said, when you put it together with God on your side, you see that you excel. There is a lot of things that are distracting students out there, candidates. A lot of getting questions, they are buying questions. Some of them, like they said, they don't attend classes. And they rush from one revision class to another. This person has organized a revision class here, they rush there, and they get this is what is going to come. Those are periods that they were supposed to use to be learning, to be studying, but they are rushing from one class to another because they don't want to spend time and read their books. And it's causing a lot of failure. And that is the reason why you see some of them, at the end of the day, they give up, that it is very difficult. No, it is not difficult. All the exam that you are to write is something that is part of you, that you have been taught. And so if you have your necessary things that you need, like your notebook, your syllabus, your notebook, even your text, the textbooks, some of them don't even copy notes in class. I have students, candidates that are about to write exams, and they don't have a single note, maybe a complete topic. They will have a book, and that book has about 5 different subjects, and they are planning to go in for an exam. How do you read? So that is another thing that causes a lot of failure. You see people failing nowadays. And then one of the strategies that they also forgot, they did not mention, is the mnemonics. That one too is very easy for you. You can just decide to come out with, let's say you have read the characteristics of living things, and then you say Mr. Green. From there now you can come out with your mnemonics. You just, by the time they ask you in the exam, what is the characteristics of living thing, and something comes up, Mr. Green. From there you know that M stands for movement, R stands for respiration, and so on, and green stands for growth, and so on, and you'll be able to write it very well. That's the time to sit and then read his or her books. So you see, those are some of the distractors nowadays that are really ravaging our society, the young people who are going in for exams. I believe that if you are determined, the Bible says if a man is diligent, he will stand before kings, and he will not stand before me men. Diligent, and you discipline yourself with hard work, putting all the other things together, I believe that you will make a good success. It is not too late. don't give up. Some people already, they are already they giving up now. They may say that the time, look at my time is too short, I don't think I can make it, I'm just from writing the mock and the results are not the best. No, you can still make it. Sit up, put your things in order, get good notes, read the notes, take all the study techniques that they have presented here, and then you follow. I believe that you will have a good
Thank you
success.
so much, Mrs. Sophie, for that. Thank you. If you are already maybe feeling discouraged, you just apply the technique Mr. Obasi just gave us. Get 3 subjects a day, answer 2 questions. From now till maybe the exam period, you would have seen that you've covered a lot and you are very much ready for the exams. You're following us online, you have questions, you have points to give out there to equal to the audience. We are not just selfish with ideas or maybe with the opportunity to voice out things there. You are equally allowed or permitted to send your send your points in the inbox session. So you can write your questions, you can write down your points, and our panelists are here. They are going to help you answer your questions, and you are going to go back clarified. So we're just going to have a brief break and we will be right back.
Q U E S T.
Have you heard of the quest?
The quests have been going on and you have not once come to it. I'm telling you, you're missing something.
It focuses on God's word, panel discussion, debates that relate in all aspects of life, financially, physically, spiritually, medically, etc.
Don't fall for the trap. You can't afford to miss the quest.
The quest is a very wonderful show that has begun. It's a train that has begun, and you need to join this train and be on the quest.
The quest is a structure that happens every Sunday
at 1800 GMT.
It goes live on Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook, which is on Deeper Life Bible Church Cameroon, and on YouTube, which is DCL Cameroon.
It covers every aspect of life that you can imagine.
I am expecting to see you meet here this Sunday.
The Quest Show.
Q U E S T.
Have you heard of the quest?
The quests have been going on and you have not once come to it. I'm telling you, you're missing something.
It focuses on God's word, panel discussion, debates that relate in all aspects of life, financially, physically, spiritually, medically, etc.
Don't fall for the trap. You can't afford to miss the quest.
The quest is a very wonderful show that has begun. It's a train that has begun, and you need to join this train and be on the quest.
The quest is a structure that happens every Sunday
at 1800 GMT.
It goes live on Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook, which is on Deeper Life Bible Church Cameroon, and on YouTube, which is DCL Cameroon.
It covers every aspect of life that you can imagine.
I am expecting to see you meet here this Sunday.
The Quest Show.
Q
Okay, you all once more welcome. Thank you for not going away. Thank you for staying there. Thank you for being with us. Thank you already. I know that you've learned a lot. You've got a lot of inspiration. You've had points, tips, valuable techniques to take back home. And I'm sure for if you implement these things, you are not very much far away from your expected success. But there are a lot of things that we are still going to say which you are supposed to add to what you've taken down already to make it a full dose of techniques and tips for you to take back home in order to apply and really have good success, as even the Bible tells us. So we still have our panelists seated, and they are very much bright and they are happy. They are enjoying the show. They are enjoying you out there equally following. And now we are going to be talking of, we've spoken of time management. We've spoken of study techniques. We've spoken of knowing knowing yourself, knowing the type of students you are, knowing are you the type of one who maybe needs graphics in order to understand easily? Are you the one who at maybe just from one lecture you can already answer a lot of questions, know your study environment, and a lot of things that we've seen. But now there's equally this thing that exists in the lives of students, or this thing that students experience, though not all, what we call examination fever. Some students, when they just hear about exams, they're already panicking. They are in their mind, they are already abated, defeated, they are already weakened. They cannot really stand tall again to face their exams. The challenges that comes with the exams already just batter them, and they cannot really say anything vis-a-vis exams again. How does one really handle this exam-related anxiety? I will begin with Mrs. Fang, Elizabeth.
Thank you. That is an aspect that is very common with students, that anxiety, or I will call it stress, when they get, or when the examination period is approaching, and actually when they get into examination. Well, I want to first of all say stress at times is necessary, because it's stress that pushes us to get solution. It's only bad when it's continual. That's when that stress becomes bad. But that stress is necessary. Now, but what causes students to be stressed up? If we can answer that question, then we'll be able to get a solution to their stress. It's lack of preparation. That's why this topic we're handling is very important. It's lack of effective preparation that makes a student to be stressed up. By the time exams are coming and the student is seeing him or herself faced with work uncovered, that student is stressed up. There's no more time. How am I going to cover this work? You know, that stresses up the students. So if we have to do something with examination stress, the first thing, like I said from the beginning, is early preparation. Early preparation. If a student takes time to prepare very well, you know, we don't start preparing an exam 1 week to the exam where we just ask, student may be asking out there now that the time is short, and you are talking about this preparation, it's 1 month, so I'm already late. Where you are late, but you are not very late if you have God by your side. And if you've listened to us, and now you are determined that I'm going to manage my time, I don't have enough time, I'm going to manage that time and manage it effectively. Because just like Mr. Obasi said, it's not just drawing up the timetable, but you discipline yourself to keep the timetable. It's not just having a study plan, you discipline yourself to keep that study plan. So now the exams are approaching, you have not covered the work. It makes you to be stressed up. So that is why for that solution, Don't look at the time now that, it's short. No. Just start right away preparing. If you have not been preparing, start right away to prepare. That will take away the stress. And another thing that helps to take away this issue of stress is, I would say, exposing yourself to examination questions. That stress comes at times because of fear of the unknown. You are getting into the exam. How is this exams like? That's why you see students most often, the first paper students write, that day the students are always stressed up. They will come early into the exam because they don't know what they expected. But the second day now they are a bit relaxed. So you see, another thing that makes students to be stressed up is the unknown. They are afraid of the unknown. How is this exam going to look like? This is my first time of going into it. How is it going to look like? So to overcome that stress, that's why you should expose yourself to examination questions. That's why we talked of examination. If you have given enough time to go through examination questions, exams questions are not just imported, they are repeated. Just like Mr. Obati said, they are repeated. If you take 5 years back, you will just see so. At least you'll find a question that would have come up 3 times. In the 5 years back, would have come up 3 times. So if you are a student and you have exposed yourself enough to examination questions, you will not have that fear of the unknown. You will know that this is how the exams are set. So you'll be going in ready for the exams. That fear will not be there. And another thing that can help to take away that examination stress is working in a group that will boost your confidence. When you work in a group, boost your confidence. Now, I want to take an example, say you have a group, like when we're writing the O-level, had a study group. And what will we do in that study group? We'll give ourselves time. We'll say, okay, this week we are answering, because we always come together at the weekend, we are answering geography questions. And so the whole week, everybody on your own, you take time to prepare. By the time we come, we place different geography questions, and we are asking questions, we are answering, we are asking. So when you work in that group, you see, you build that self-confidence, and it takes away that stress from you. So that self-confidence is built up, and it takes away stress from you.
Thank you very
Those
much,
are some of the things.
Mrs. Fang, for that. Thank you so much. You've touched a lot of points there. Preparation, adequate preparation is going to take away all these stress-related, the anxiety that you get while preparing for your exams. If you prepare adequately, the stress is not really going to be there, because you will look at your syllabus and you say, oh, I've covered this already, I've covered this syllabus, I've covered everything, and I am well ready for these exams. Why should you be stressed? So these things, they are not going to be there. And of course, if you equally prepare very well for the day of the exams, and you are versed with the format and everything about the exams, you are not really going, there will be no reason for you to be stressed about the exams, which is very, very, very much important. Mr. Obasi, I don't know if you have something to say concerning this stress-related issue. And just to add to that, I don't know, she spoke of students getting versed with the questions, the exam questions, and so that because if you are versed with the questions, going into the examination, you are not, that anxiety or that fear of the unknown will not be there, because you know that, okay, this is how it's been, this is the format, and this is how it's done. But now, is it not going to cause some familiarity at some point? Maybe someone who began very early enough, maybe as early as September, preparing for exams, answering questions, will it not cause some familiarity, which maybe we always see in maybe students who are repeating an exam?
Thank you, Mr. Asar, for the question. I think the issue of stress before examination and even during the exams is a very critical aspect to be handled. Stress has a lot of sources and maybe causes of causes which we need to look at it critically. There are people who are naturally afraid and the fear there may not necessarily be because of anything. Sometimes you just find somebody just afraid. Naturally, there are people like that. So whenever they come across any situation that a little bit is as a challenge, yes, they're already afraid. In the night, they cannot go out to see what is happening. Maybe they are going to the toilet, they're afraid because it's dark, or a little sound just beside the kitchen, they're afraid. So these people, they are naturally afraid of whatever they come across. Now, how do we handle such situation? We should look at it by a way of talk with that person, to talk with the person and find out what are you afraid of, what makes you to be afraid. And if the person is maybe in a Christian background like what we have there, we should use the scripture, the word of God, to tell the person that the Bible says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love and of a sound mind and of the spirit of boldness. So we are not supposed to be afraid of an examination. Whether you are prepared or not, fear is not an antidote for you to write exams. Fear will only bring failure. So, and also increase your stress during the examination. So what I want to say is that if you know that for the exams you are not well prepared, what is the way out? What is the way out? Should I resort into stress, into fear? At that last minute, what is the way out? There are many suggestions which though may not be the best, but what I want to like to know is that I think they have already said it. You should start from somewhere. Start from somewhere. Maybe there are 10 chapters and you have covered only 2 chapters. Start from somewhere. Start from where you know that you are lacking and start getting gradually. And then number 2, before the exam, you should intensify. Sometimes people will call intensive study. Intensify your studies at that minute because the time is short and the exams no wait for you. So you intensify your study habits. If you are reading 1 hour per day, you can take it now to 3 hours per day to make sure you catch up with the things you have not caught up. You may not be able to have excellent, but at least you may find yourself somewhere either having good or having average. At least you have passed. But you must make sure that from now you intensify your study habit. Now, Mr. Asaf mentioned a very important point that if somebody starts studying from September, won't that bring familiarity? I would say no. I think that is the best time to start studying. And for those students who are in the university, because I know most students in university, they only study when exams are near. You will find a student, you have been copying notes, piling up notes. You never open the book. Only wait until there's examination next, then you find that's when they find a student taking the book to go and read. No, that is not a good approach in examination. And that will make the student to just read to pass and not to even read to assimilate or to even understand what the student is reading. After the exams, you forgot all what you have even read. So what is the right attitude? If you have not, the first day you were given a note, don't sleep over that note without going through it. Start reading that note. Start preparing yourself. Not just because you are preparing for the exams, but because you want to master whatever you are studying. That type of preparation helps you to gather your facts very well before time, and that helps you reduce stress. When you get to the exams, you know that there's nothing to be afraid of. After all, I am prepared for the exams, and I've read my books, and I think it is going to help you very much to be prepared for the exams. And one other point I want to add is that when you get an exam start, to avoid stress, make sure you get to the exams early. Exams start at 8 o'clock. Don't go there at 8 o'clock or maybe 5 minutes to 8. You can get to that exams 1 hour before 8 o'clock. Find out where you have to sit. Get your sitting plan. And then you make sure that you don't engage yourself in too much discussion like others are discussing before the exams. When you have been asked to get into the hall, get to the hall, find your place and sit down. Be calm. And avoid anything that will bring unnecessary distraction at that particular moment, because too much of talking before exams can make you to forget all what you have even read, and by the time you see that your brain is empty, you may think that somebody have come and maybe apply witches on you. No, you have talked out all your ideas. So when you get to the examination hall, sit down and just be calm. Try to reflect on what you have studied. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Obasi, for the points you've enumerated there. Don't talk out your points or don't talk out your knowledge by just opening your mouth and leaking out everything by discussing with your friends and not being calm when you go for exams. And it is equally very much related to that which Mr. Obasi earlier said, that punctuality is a part of preparation for exams. And if you have been preparing for exams and you are punctual in attending your classes, of course you are going to equally be punctual during the exams, because you are going to come early enough, because that has been your habit. You've already built that in you. Now we've spoken about how to really get versed with all these things, and now how do you get motivated? How do you get motivated to really stay in for an exams? And this really goes to it applies more to students that are not in the boarding school. Yes, I think Ms. Sophie is going to tell us this. She is the vice principal of Life Anglo-Saxon. Students who are sitting for exams, you go to school and you come back, maybe on your way back home, you just meet someone throwing a slang and saying that, this is your school that you're attending. Are you sure you're going to be something tomorrow? Look at me, I have masters, I'm doing mobile money, or I'm doing something. How do you stay motivated with all these external things that come to the students?
Thank you, Mr. Hassan, for that question. Well, it is normal when you are a day student, you get comments like that. But the first thing is that you set your goals and you know what you have to achieve. That's the first thing. Who are you? Always ask yourself that question, and what you want to be. Because it's normal that you hear people trying to discourage you. Try to manage your expectations. They not only people, there are some people that will even tell you that, are you sure you are going to pass? And with what is happening now, the exams, and what we are about to the exams, they say this one is very difficult. Are you sure you are going to make it? Expect such and try to manage it by setting your goals and then working towards your dream. Of course, certainly, whether you like it or not, when you pass, whether they like it or not, there are some people who will still be call box operators and others will be ministers. I think what you have to do is that you have to be focused. Forget about all the distractors and all the distractions out there. Be focused on set your goals and work towards it. Don't mind what others are saying. Don't worry about what is out there. Just focus on your what you are about to do. And then there should be that inner motivation, that thing that pushes you. Others are like this, I will go more than this. I think that will make you to work harder. Don't look at the others. They just have that inner motivation, intrinsic motivation that motivates you to keep going.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Sophie, for that inner motivation, something inherent. Like, try to make it in you, build that motivation in you. Mrs. Fang, any motivating factor that could help a student out there that is maybe really touched by external slangs or talks of the people?
I will borrow from the Bible. Joseph had a dream, and because he had a dream, no matter what the brothers around did, that did not deter him from his dream. So that dream that he had is that inner motivation. And that inner motivation is very important. It cannot be influenced by external factors. But if you are looking at external factors, when they are not there, if you are looking at external factors to motivate you to study, when they are not there, you will not be able to study. But if you have a dream like Joseph had a dream. The brothers did everything, even the parents did everything to discourage him. But because he had a dream, Martin Luther had a dream. He said he has a dream that blacks will rule America. And that dream kept him going, no matter what he suffered, no matter the challenges. That dream kept him going. And until today, we have had blacks ruling America. So it's your dream. You have a dream. You know where you are going to, and you are focused. You want to get to that point. You don't allow yourself to be distracted. don't allow external factors to discourage you. No, you hold on to your dream. This is my goal. Mr. Obasi spoke about goals. You know, by the time you are a student and you get into the examination class, you set your goals. There are mock. We always tell our students, what's your goal for mock? What's your goal for the GCE? By the time the mock exams comes out, you have to look at your results. Have you achieved your goal? If you have not achieved that goal, then you know there's still something you have to do. That's a drive. It should give you a drive. You know that there's still something I have to do. I have not achieved it. Or if you have achieved it, fine and good. The next step now is the O level. You write it down. The Bible says, let the vision be written on the wall and make it clear. And once it is clear and you are seeing it every day, it's a push. It will push you to keep on studying no matter what they are saying.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Fang, for that. You should not wait on external motivation in order to go forward or push through your maybe preparation process. You should have that inner motivation. That dream should be what is driving you or pushing you through the process while preparing to get there. You should not wait maybe for someone to come and kind of pat you on the back always and really tell you some motivational talks before you can really sail through. But you should always have that inner motivation. Like, know why you are there. Like, love success. I think if you equally love success, it's going to really keep you going, because okay, you would not want to be a failure tomorrow. The person who maybe is throwing the slang that, okay, I have masters and I am in mobile money, if an opportunity should come maybe for a job, you don't have ordinary level or advanced level and they are to take somebody, you are not going to be taken. Yes, but they will take him, and maybe even the experience that he has from maybe his mobile money is really going to help him. But the base is that he is educated. So you should equally put that at the back of your mind, that education has its place in the life of each and everyone. It has a place in your own life, in my own life, and you should prepare, and that should be a motivating factor. So thank you very, very much, Mr. Obasi Njoku. Thank you, Mrs. Fang. Thank you, Mrs. Sophie, for gracing our show with your presence. Thank you. Just to let you know that Mrs. Fang is the principal of All Saints Bilingual College, and if you know All Saints Bilingual College in Douala, you should know that it is synonymous to 100%. So it is someone who is at the head of these 100% that has been talking to you, and if you just practice or put in place all the techniques that you've gotten from Mrs. Sophie, who is vice principal of LASCO, equally synonymous to 100% to great success. We have Mr. Obasi Njoku here, who has tutored a lot of students for HND, and they've made it in flying colors. Those true, yes, and he has given us points and many other things which we've gotten from here. And like they say in Pidgin, that follow who know route. These are people who know road, and they are showing unto you the way, and as you follow, you are going to succeed. I can assure and guarantee you that. So just one last word for our audience out there, the people preparing for their exams. Just one last word. Mr. Obasi, what do you have to tell?
Thank you again for this last opportunity. I think there is something that is like bubbling in my mind that I think I need to tell the students. There are 4 zones I've observed when I look at the classifying the students we have in our different institutions today, and I call those 4 zones. The first zone is called the C zone. The next zone is called the P. That is called the P, and that is called the P zone. So there are 3 P zones, and there is 1 C zone. That C zone is called the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a zone having limited resources, potentials. You know, God created man with a lot of potentials, but unfortunately, as I look at our schools today, just about 60 to 80% are still in their comfort zones. They don't want to come up from the comfort zone. Anything that stresses them up, they want to avoid it. So that is why we find most of our students that are performing only at the average level because they want to remain in the comfort zone. Many students today live, maybe they are going to universities, and when they're going to universities, they're asking, I want to choose a specialty, for example, and they are trying to choose a specialty that does not have maths. They don't care about their future. What they are thinking about, they want to choose a specialty that will give them less stress or less challenges, because they want to stay in their comfort zone. If there is a word I have for students, is that they should come out from their comfort zone. The next zone is called the push zone. Then from the push zone, you get to the pull zone. Then the last zone is called the peak zone. So I will not have time to really explain the characteristics of this zone, but I want to advise the student that you should come out from your comfort zone, face your challenges, and get to the top where you belong. You are not at the lower level you find yourself now. There is still much you can achieve and acquire if you come out from the comfort zone where there are just limited resources. Get to the peak zone where you're going to find unlimited potentials that will make you to become self-actualized in life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obasi, for that. Come out from your comfort zone. Face your challenges. That's the final word from the tutor for the university students. Mrs. Sophie, a last word for the students out there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hassan, for that. Well, my last word for the students or the candidates out there is that as we are moving towards the exams, rest very well, have time to sleep is very, very important. A lot of them go through stress because they have procrastinated. Have time to sleep very well, at least for some time, to rest your brain, and also eat food, good food. It depends, maybe as they are reading now, the kind of food they take make their bodies to be very heavy, so they cannot even get up to read. So eat light meals. Don't swallow like 3 bundles of Eba, and then you want to get up at night, your body will be very heavy. So eat light meals, and then you rest well. Thank you. I believe that with this, with the rest of all what we have said here, you are going to make it. The Bible says, I can do all things. You can. And all we wish all of the viewers out there is that the end result will be good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sophie, for that brief and concise talk to the candidates out there. Eat light, don't eat heavy. Rest adequately and prepare fine for your exams, and your expectations are not going to be cut short. Ms. Fa, a lot of students out there. You have one final word for them.
One final word for them. We are interested in their success, and I think this program is interested in their success. That's why it's coming up with this examination preparation at a time like this. And God is interested in your success. But then there is a part you have to play, and that part is what we are talking about: preparation for exams. And I want to believe that you've been following us through the program. A lot of things we have said, a lot of techniques and shortcomings that make students to fail. I want to believe that if all these are implemented, the so desired success will be achieved. It's not too late. We don't need to panic as students and say, I've not done anything. We have had a student where mock results were proclaimed, I think 1 week before exams, 1 or 2 weeks before exams, and that student had 0 papers. But that student went back to work. And so if you are out there, you've not started working, go back to work. The student went back to work, and then to look at the pitfalls. Where did I fall? They say it is not bad to fall, but it's bad to fall and to remain on the ground. And that student who had 0 paper went back to work and said, what happened that I failed in this mock like this? And the student put himself to work, and within 2 weeks that GC started, that student came out with 8 papers in the GC. And so it's not yet over with any student who is preparing for GC. You still have time, but not time to turn around, but time to get focused now and to get prepared for your exams, applying all the techniques we have mentioned here, and some we may not have mentioned. And I want to think that if you do that, you will have the desired success that God wants for you and your parents.
Thank you very, very much, Mrs. Fang, for the final word you have given. That's just to say that all the things that have been said here have verifiable testimonies. They have verifiable proofs. There are things that are workable. They are working in the lives of people. There are people that can attest to that. So it's not like something that you're going to say that there is no evidence, or you would say that we go explain tire. But we have explained here, and they are equally students that have implemented these things, and it has transformed and changed their life. It has catapulted their results. It's taken them from mediocrity to becoming real brilliant and successful students. The so desired success, they've experienced the things. So by following all the strategies, the tips, and everything that has been said on this show for this evening, effectively following with discipline and with determination, diligence, you follow all these things, you are going to be only a success. It is only success that's going to come, and you do it confidently. That's just the summary of all what has been said here. And remember, be consistent. Be consistent. Don't just begin something and you already, maybe when you start facing challenges, you are already backing out. So thank you very, very much, our panelists. Thank you, Mrs. Sophie. Thank you, Mrs. Fang. Thank you, Mr. Obasi. Thank you, our viewers. I see Moses Ochowechi Energy. He's watching. I see Peter Nzume. I see Tegen Victor. He's watching from the USA. I see Naya Gazelle. I see Miracle watching from France. I see Philo Ocean is watching. I see Indifon Caleb. Thank you so much for you all there. I see Etor Emmanuel from Bamenda. I see a lot of people. I congratulate you for being with us. Thank you for following. I'm sure that you've gotten the point and you've been inspired. You've had a lot to take back home. Don't equally forget to share this out to other students. It will really be bad if you get inspired like this and you get the tips and the techniques and you keep them to yourself. So share them out and let it help one person, let it help another, and let it help all the students that you know. Try to share it to them. So thank you very, very much. You all know our rendezvous is next Sunday, same time, same place. No. Thank you.
U-E-S-T.
Have you heard of the quest?
The quests have been going on and you have not once come to it. I'm telling you, you're missing something.
It focuses on God's word, panel discussion, debates that relate in all aspects of life, financially, physically, spiritually, medically, etc.
Don't fall for the trap. You can't afford to miss the quest.
The quest is a very wonderful show that has begun. It's a train that has begun, and you need to join this train and be on the quest.
The quest is a structure that happens every Sunday
at 1800 GMT.
It goes live on Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook, which is on Deeper Life Bible Church Cameroon, and on YouTube, which is DCL Cameroon.
It covers every aspect of life that you can imagine.
I am expecting to see you meet here this Sunday.
The Quest Show. Q.